Hello, moon babies. This is Molly. Thank you so much for being here with me and welcome to the studio. So today I wanted to show you how I make magically infused papers. A really fun and effective way to art witch, at least I believe, is to simply create your own supplies. So that's what we're going to do in this video. And I'm going to walk you through how I make mixed media papers and show you a few possibilities about how you may wish to use them. Creating papers is a great way to use up odds and ends that you have laying around. I didn't purchase anything to create these, and I actually prefer to use recycled stuff if I can. Tissue paper and recycled gift wrap, mailers, old newspapers, pages from books. These all make great fodder for this sort of project. I also enjoy making papers because they're a low-risk way to experiment. They're a great project for those times when you're unsure of what to make, or you feel stuck, or you just want to zen out for a while and use it as a meditative process and just kind of get the flow going. It's more about playing and experimenting. And for that reason, this is a lot of fun to do with little witchlings, since you really can't mess this up. I would recommend, however, if you are going to buy a supply, to use a paper that has a bit of body, something substantial that's going to accept a bit of a beating and a little bit of media without getting all wrinkly or becoming difficult to work with or even potentially falling apart. So something like a cardstock or a Bristol paper works well for this, or a gessoed paper. So, as with any art magic project you create, you may wish to create some ambiance for yourself to get that energy flowing. So, lighting a candle, or having some of your favorite stones nearby, or special music on if you like to set the stage for the work that you're going to do. You may also wish to cleanse your tools or the materials that you're going to use and your work area, potentially, with a cleansing spray or a sacred smoke or perhaps a cleansing sound to set the tone. As for the papers themselves, you may wish to treat them with a gem elixir. That's one of my favorite ways to prepare a paper. You could also use moon water or spray or any other sort of holy water, or perhaps an herbal tea. You may also wish to consider charging up the papers once you've actually completed the surfaces. So either in a crystal grid or in some sort of moonlight or on a special space in your home. You can get really creative with this end as well. So what can you do with this? So these papers can be used for a wide variety of projects. They could be used in your grimoire. You can use them for collage or other magical art projects. They may turn into enchanted bookmarks, origami guardians for your altar or your home or workspace. They could become magically infused bunting or decoration, covers for magical journaling, or even the pages of a magical diary, perhaps a sacred book project, greeting cards that are primed with well wishes or love or healing. They could turn into flowers, lanterns, luminaries, all kinds of decor. There are tons of possibilities. You can also consider colors that coincide with your intentions. So I'm just making a batch, and part of why I like to do that is I'm slightly impatient, so I can work on them sort of in a round, a little bit at a time, allowing layers to dry in between. But I have a warm palette, a cool palette going, and an intentionally contrasting sort of cosmic palette going, something that has a lot of contrast and a lot of energy in it. You can also include images, personal symbols, sigils, statements of intent, power words, anything that feels appropriate to you that will help your papers feel saturated and right for you. So the name of my game here is layering and playing. So let's talk about some projects that you might wish to try. This Technicolor paper here is going to turn into an envelope. So I'm just hitting the back with a bit of this silver metallic paint, and we're going to set that to the side and allow it to dry while we work on some components for our other projects. So I owe a dear friend a Valentine, and that's what I'm going to create here with a little leftover cardstock. I'm going to address the surface with a metallic gold stamp in a little vine motif and cover the surface. And then what we're going to do is take this warm colored paper and sketch a design onto the back for us to cut out. And what I'd like to do here is from that paper use an X-Acto blade and cut out little windows to give it sort of a little lace or a stained glass sort of effect, just some windows to peek through. And I'm tracing that onto the cardstock again because I'd like to see a little bit more of that gold surface, have something a little higher contrast peeking through those windows that we've cut. So a little bit of glue and putting it on a contrasting color. And then we'll hit that with a bit of glue and apply that to the surface of our greeting card. Next, we're going to use the Cool palette, and I've been wanting some moon phase bunting for my altar room. So what I've done here is trace some circles onto the back of our mixed media paper as well as some construction paper to mount them on, and then just snipping out the moon phases here. And I decided that I wanted a little bit more texture and a little bit of contrast on the backing paper. So I'm just using a stamp with that same gold pad again, and then using a glue stick to mount the phases. And then we're going to finish it off for just a little bit of texture with some gold puff paint for just a little bit of raised texture. So our silver paint is dry, and I'm tracing an envelope template onto the back. You can dissect an existing envelope if you like to create that. And it's a little cattywampus, but I sort of love that about this because this is art witchery, baby. It's about play, not perfection. So a little bit of magical mail. I truly hope that you enjoyed our studio time together. I had a lot of fun making this project, and I would love to know if you give this a try, or if this is something similar to what you do. I would love to know more about how you're using art magic in your practices. I would love to see your results. So thank you so much for being here, Moon Babies. And until we speak again, witch on, witch boldly, be well, and make stuff. Bye-bye.